Now that we've had our defaults set up and we set up the project to begin with, we're working on step 3, which is building different calendars. Now, uh, working from the blank project, you can see, we're going to be starting off with um, no individual uh, activity or no individual scope of work has been identified at this point. We're just building a calendar. We're setting the defaults for it. So to set up the calendar, we're simply going to go to change working time. That's under the project tab. And we can use a standard calendar, which is a 40-hour work week, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And what we're going to do at the bottom here is we're going to establish all the individual exceptions, okay? The first calendar we want to create is we're going to hit create a new calendar, and we're going to call this the 7-day calendar. We're making a copy of the standard calendar, and we just hit OK. Now you see that it has working times, and it tells us that we're only based on an 8-hour workday. You can see the weekends are shaded gray. So what we need to do is we need to go to work weeks, hit details, and we want to make Sunday and Saturday, which are currently non-work days, we want to make them work days. So we're going to go ahead and set specific times for working days. We're going to set it from 8 a.m. okay, to 12 a.m. and then from 1 to 5. We did that for Sunday, and once I hit OK, you'll see Sunday has been removed as a non-work day. We want to do the same thing for Saturday. Let's go back in here. Saturday, set specific work times, 8, 12, 1 to 5, and hit OK. And now every day is a work day. So because there are no exceptions, these are calendar days. This is what we use for, say, like the government activities, which, by spec give us 21 days or 14 calendar days. We want to use a 7-day calendar. Some people like to call this calendar the government calendar. I just call it a 7-day calendar because there are some activities that we need based on calendar days, not duration days. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and create another one using a copy of a standard calendar, and we'll name this one the 5-day with holidays, okay? Now the spec should tell you what the federal holidays are. But if it does not, you can use a standard, federal, calendar released by the government. There are some standard holidays that apply almost everywhere. So So do you want to save changes to the 7-day calendar? You hit yes. Now we move to a 5-day calendar. You see we went back and used a copy of the standard calendar, which means that weekends are off. We want to go back to exceptions, and we want to put exceptions in. A good one is Thanksgiving. So we'll go to Thanksgiving, right, it should be the 30th, right? And we're going to go ahead and just select the day, and we're going to go ahead and type in Thanksgiving, okay? Um, it's going to automatically throw that date in, okay? But say we want it to be not just the Thursday, say Friday. Say we don't want to work our guys Friday too, so we can just select it to the first, and that way both um, 12/1 and 11/30 are now an exception. There are no working days will be allowed to occur. No working times will be allowed to occur on these individual dates. So we go through and we identify all the individual holidays, and then that creates a 5-day with holidays calendar. It's based on a 40-hour work week. If we went to work week here, and we saw, we'd be able to go through here and look at all the individual calendars. We'd see we have 8 hours a day, um, 5 days a week, a 40-hour work week. That's pretty much a standard in the software when we set up our options. So we'd hit OK, and now we have a 5-day calendar. Let's go back in and create another calendar, project, the project tab, change working times, and we're going to go ahead and create another calendar. And the other calendar that we're going to create is 5-day with hit create calendar. We're going to make a copy of the 5-day with holidays, and we're going to name this 5-day with holidays and weather. Now we could it's not gonna let me use the and key, so just put 5 days weather and weather. And we're gonna use, you see the 5-day calendar came up, it copied that one. But we're also gonna put in weather. Now, weather is simply defined as an inch of precipitation over a 4-hour period of time. Now that's a lot of rain, to occur over 4-hour period of time. If you work outside, obviously you get more than just one work day because it has to dry out. But you got to think about activities we would work outside, like mobilizing the site or bringing in materials or things like that. So we'd go to every individual month and we'd put October weather days, because remember, all to begin with, we'll have all our holidays in there. And say that we want to have a you know 3 days as weather days. So what I do is I go ahead and pick, 3 days. I usually do it in the first half of the month, just for some consistency purposes. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say from the 4th to the 6th is going to be our weather days this month. Say we decided to have 3 weather days. And now we have a calendar for October. We still have our holidays in here, but now we have weather days assigned. That means that there's no work able to occur during this period. So now we have a weather day calendar. So say that we have one last calendar is, kind of, I call it a special calendar, and it's really meant for things like asphalt or if you're doing a phasing project and some things can't occur over a certain period of time and you want to make sure any activities you assign to the schedule will not occur during that period of time. So we want to go ahead and make a copy of 5 days, 5 days with holidays, and we want to name this asphalt's a good example. You can name it a special calendar. I want to name it for asphalt, for example. And we know that we can't place asphalt between the months of, between the months of, say, November to, say, February in Kentucky. So what we can do is we can say, see all holidays in there, we can go ahead and say, okay, we want October availability. So say that, November availability. And so we're going to go ahead and say that all the month of November, we're not able to do anything. So we're going to go ahead and select all those from 10/2 to 10/29. We're not going to be able to work at all. Okay. And so now we have all the days in October and in November. You know, we can change the name to being we can just name this as, uh, you know, October through February, and we can just go through and we can uh, highlight all the days until, say, end of February. And then now you can see it's just saying that there's going to have overlap of holidays, which is fine. Okay. Um, so we can, because there's an overlap of holidays there, we have to delete this one exception, and he's giving me a hard time. So we delete that one exception, and then we just say availability. And we'll make everything, say, from October 1st to February 28th. And now you look through here and all those days are unavailable, meaning you cannot, when you sign an activity, it will not uh, be able to be worked during that period of time. It will not work between October 1st to February 28th. So a good way of using different calendars. So at this point, you hit OK. And when we, in the future, what we're going to do is we're going to assign, you know, calendars to individual activities. And just as a brief intro to it, I'll go ahead and insert a column, and I'll call it task calendar. And you can see when you do the drop down menu, you have all the calendars we put in there. And we'll want to assign, calendars to every individual activity based on what it is, working inside, outside. It's a calendar day, it's an asphalt availability or availability at a certain point. So that pretty much is, how you put together different calendars. I know that there's also a calendar for, say, 4-day work weeks. We can do that also. Um, we just simply got to go to change working times and add a new calendar, right? So we go, say, a 5 calendar with holidays, and say we don't want a 5-day calendar, we want a 4-day calendar. So we just change the work weeks, go to work weeks, go to detail, and make Friday set as non-working time. So you can see now we've gone to a 4-day work week. We don't want to get into the hours and stuff on the defaults. That's fine. Um, when you put a duration day in, what I would say is that it's probably good when you change it to a 4-day to also change the working times. Say on Monday, instead of being from 8 to 5, you want to probably go 8 to, say, 6, depending on what your working hours are, right? Or 8 to 7, um, where it's 10 hours per day. Um, that way, ooh, it messed up there. So 1, and then to 1900, which is 7 p.m. So we actually have a 10-day work week in there because the software assumes it's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So if you don't do that, it can mess with your durations and stuff. So it's good to, it's a good practice to do that. And that pretty much covers, building the different project calendars for step number 3.